Hello, everyone. You are welcome to the Black Female Entrepreneur Greenwich. Sorry, we're a bit late, but because we are having some technical issue. But the most important thing that we are live right now. So thank you all for staying tuned and watching us today. We are talking about a very important topic and presentation, which is the African food herbs, spices, and its medicinal and health value. So I would like to welcome Mr. Cletus in the house. Hello, Mr. Cletus. We are celebrating the Black History 365, and this is going to run, our activities is going to run throughout up to April, I think so. So there will be more activities coming up. So this is not the last of our events. We're going to do another of this show again at the Instagram platform on the 6th. And after that, I think we are wrapping it up for the Black History Month because some of us are going for Christmas break. But we have an upcoming event on the 9th, which is the Afrobeat Disco party happening at Chichi Restaurants. Go and book your ticket. Ticket is at Eventbrite. And also we have the African Christmas Carol and Award Night happening at Woolwich Common Community Center. So it is going to be a very beautiful activities. And on the 5th of December, we are also at Abbey Woods, where we are doing a mini African festival. So guys, stay tuned and watch. I don't want to take too much of your time because Mr. Cletus needs to get on with our show today. Hello, Mr. Cletus. You're welcome to give a presentation. Got you. Hello, Mr. Cletus.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't think your camera is on. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, let me.
So today's topic will be about the African food and herbs. And myself, I have been looking into this amazing African herbs, food, and the medicinal value. I know most of the time people talk about and raise a lot of questions about if African food is healthy. But I am telling you, most of the medicine used in the developed world, most of these herbs, they got them from Africa and other third world country. So while Mr. Cletus is getting on, I don't know if he's coming on. If he's not coming on, I'm gonna shoot up with this presentation because I have some write-up that I have done in regard to African herbs. I have been doing some research and looking at.
Hello, can you hear me?
And how important they are. They said traditional medicine is a sum total of knowledge, skill, practice based on the theory of belief. And African herbs are shown a big contribution to the medicine. And also WHO has also raised the importance of what traditional herbs has done to medicine. Mr. Curtis is back. I think Mr. Curtis is back. So the African herbs is important to a lot of our health. Okay, Mr. Curtis is back. I was thinking you're not able to come in. So I was just doing some of the presentation. I have some of the research I have done in regard to African herbs. So the floor is over to you.
All right. Good evening, everyone from here, Lagos, Nigeria. It's nice being with you again. And our topic today is a very beautiful one. African foods and herbs, their medicinal value and their health value. Well, let's go back to the background. African food is as old as the hills on the planet Earth. when God created Adam and Eve, he put them in the Garden of Eden. And what he asked them to eat were just plants, fruits, and vegetables. And African food, the major part of it is plant and seed and vegetables. I'm talking about African food pre-colonial era. And it is instructive for us to know that Africans ate fresh food. In other words, is a Westerners is a Western nation that taught Africans how to put food in the fridge. You kill your chicken, you put it 3 months, you don't eat it and all of that because it's frozen. So our traditional diet features abundance of fresh foods, tubers, yams, white and red, of course, you have cocoyam and cassava. So this diet, maker's diet, as it were, is what Africans were known for, right from the Garden of Eden, like I said. But I want to break it down into, when you talk about Africa, some people just think that Africa is like a country in Europe or whatever. But it's instructive to know that countries like Sudan, Ethiopia, and probably Mali are bigger than the whole of Europe put together. So Africa is a huge continent with a lot of countries. So I want to break it down into West Africa. Let's try and manage. We can't exhaust, of course, the African cuisine. Let's take West Africa, for example. Their meals is mainly starchy food, like fufu. The banku, fufu is known mainly to Nigerians, but banku and kenke are Ghanaian, and they are eaten with sauce. Of course, we also know that gari is very popular in Nigeria, served with a lot of soups like edikariko, egusi, etc., and okra. But in East Africa, it differs slightly. East Africans are known for grains. Grains, mostly, they are commonly eaten. Then they have their own barbecue, which is meat, called Nyama Choma. These are very popular, but it's not eaten every day. But it's their main daily dishes involves beans, corn, and all other grains with leafy vegetables. And shotgun, millet, sorghum, millet, rice, maize, beans are what you find in very popular in East Africa. Now you wonder why all long distance races are won by East Africans. These guys are very fit, so they don't eat starchy food like West Africans, where you have to add a lot of weight. The average East African is very fit because of the kind of food that they consume, which is fresh milk and of course butter with a lot of grains. Then our North African brothers are known for staple food that is seafood, meat, and a lot of food with a lot of flavors and spices is known with the North Africans, the entire North Africans. They like not just the South African as a country, the South African countries, they are known for the beef, goat, chicken, and other meats. That's the center point of their meal. Braki is a meal usually that consists of pap and verses, which is maize meal grilled with meat. The Zulu people eat a lot of meat. And of course, it's the Zulu like porridge. We know that beer is very, very sacred to the Zulu, and it's called ukomboti. It's made from sorghum, and this beer called ukomboti is locally brewed mainly by women, and it's as old as the hills of this earth. And it's a very special beer because it has a lot of medicinal properties that helps men and women alike. Ukomboti is still brewed till tomorrow by the Zulus. Then African diet before the coming of the Europeans, we must stress this because unfortunately though, most of those meals, like I said, I can't go into details of all of them. Most of the meals that we had that was very good, we tend to be losing grip of them because of Western influence. Like I said, it was a meal, it's purely plant-based diet. And you know, you can't go wrong with plant-based diet. It doesn't have the issues of cholesterol, chemicals, and all of that. Then they are usually fruits, grains, and vegetables, African meals. Fruits were consumed fresh. I'll give you an example. I grew up in the village, Midwestern Nigeria, now what we refer to as a Edo state. In my village, every day our parents, our mothers will cook soup. They will prepare fresh soup. You will eat it in the evening. If it's any leftover, you finish it very first thing in the morning. Usually not so much, but you finish it. The soup you cook, you finish. Now it was when I got to Lagos, I realized that the people in the village were very rich. We couldn't, in Lagos, you don't cook soup every day. But in the village, you just walk into your garden or you go to your farm, you bring fresh things and prepare it and you eat. Be it this food that I'm talking about, pounded yam with whatever kinds of soup. They were always served fresh. And this was what our forefathers did before the coming of the white man. And I also want to make it clear, it's instructive to know that our salt then was sea salt. We didn't have this salt that gives high blood pressure and all of that stuff. So our forefathers used natural sea salts to for their foods. Then that's what all I want to say about food for now. Then let me go into herbs before we talk about the advantages and the health benefits. Now, herbs, like I said, is as old as the world. We all grow up as Africans to find out that our forefathers could turn herbs into so many things. Cure people, see the future, preserve things, do a lot of things and all of that. But unfortunately, we couldn't, we the young ones can't boast of being able to use half of that. And it's sad here because the pharmacists were supposed to have studied what our forefathers used to remedy some diseases, but that's not the case. It's like we left it and actually in the hands of native doctors who think it's evil to take herbs. But anyway, there's still a lot of good stories concerning herbs. Africa is home to extensive and diverse medicinal plant life. There's no doubt about it. We have herbs that can cure skin diseases of all types. Now, if I say that I know all of them, I'll be deceiving you. But when we're growing up, because of some unhygienic conditions, we used to have ringworm from time to time or lakpa, and immediately your parents notice it on you. They just go to nearby bush, pick some leaf, grind it, and put it on your body, and it takes just a day and a half, 2 days. You won't be applying it for 4 days, and it's gone. I am talking from experience. Skin disease by herbs, nothing applied to it. Just those, they are still in the villages and they are still in our cities anyway. Then baobab leaves and sunflower, turmeric are also used to cure skin diseases. The leaves the sunflower and turmeric. They are very good for skin diseases. Then there are herbs for pain. If you are going through pain, it doesn't matter, maybe headache or pain in your bones and all of that, there are specific herbs that we apply in those days and before we were born. And psychic nuts, cloves, white lettuce, and all of that. These are some of the plants that were used to kill pain. And of course, stomach issues. We have, before garlic came, it was turmeric and cinnamon that they were using to take care of any pains in the stomach. Now, because of, I would say in those days, the washing of hands will have improved now. There's no doubt about it. Our people were not washing their hands, so they were always having stomach problems before, but there are always remedies to it. Then African herbs for cooking. Now, alligator pepper is used to cook. Where I come from, there's a leaf we call ujujun. It's very sweet to prepare a good meal. Uhwadna, arushi, and urioma. These are herbs that are used to, especially uhwadna and urioma, is used for nursing mothers. When their babies are just about a week, 2-3 weeks, they prepare this uhwadna for them. It does two things. I hear it will help to flush out the blood in the nursing mother, and of course enable lactation. That is, enable the woman for her breast to flow freely. And it also, I will see, will help her to have her appetite and all of that. It's also good for people who, not only for nursing mothers. When we went visiting in those days, when we used to go to farm, arusi is what we used to eat, and when you take arusi, you'll be so strong, and when you get home, you feel like eating more. So, and this is all purely fresh leaves, and nothing chemical that is added to it, nothing whatsoever. So if I still have my time, let me just go to the head value of this of food, then of course herbs. Then we can take some questions. The West say that Africans never lived long before they came, that it was the Western civilization and medical sciences that made Nigerians, Africans to live long. I differ from that. I mean, you tell me, oh, we have facts and all of that. But my difference from that does not necessarily mean that I have all the facts, but I want to put my facts and then you can make up your mind. What is food then? Especially African food, usually very fresh. So because it's not preserved with any preservative, African food is not preserved with any chemicals. So Africans didn't have any issues with the food they ate because they were purely organic. And I'm very happy that the West is even going organic. We were there before them. So good health was a very common thing in the African society. How can I say good health? Well, these Africans migrated, they navigated the jungles from, take for example, people from Benin Empire. They conquered the whole of Dahomey down to Lagos. They were walking on their foot. If you are not healthy, you can't walk over 400 to 500 kilometers in the jungle, conquering other people. They were very healthy, and it's a function, your health is a function of what you ought to eat. I think science supports that. Then their immunity was very good. It's not news to say that some Africans were having babies at the age of 80. I mean, the men. These days of erectile dysfunction of young men who are in their 30s and their 40s, it was almost alien to Africans. Why? Because of the food and the herbs that they were taking. So they were very close to nature. So their natural abilities and natural body were preserved. Then the third thing here that the food gave to them was strength. You say, why? All kinds of food give strength. Well, let me just tell you, if you don't know, the longest man-made war on earth is in Benin, and it's 10,000 kilometers. Go and Google it. 10,000 kilometers. What built it? There were no tractors, there were no bulldozers, there were no caterpillars, there were no rollers. Human energy, raw energy built it. So they had strength. And where did the strength come from? The food they ate, the herbs they had. Then, of course, I will also liken the kind of food that Africans eat to creativity. You say, well, how do I prove that? Anyway, great artworks that is still a contention here and there were built and created before the coming of the white man. So we didn't eat burger and fried rice and chicken and chips that you won't say, oh, it was. They were very creative based on what they ate. Then great archaeological feats. Today, there's still a lot of school of thought of how the pyramid of Egypt were built. Some even say, recent publications say that it was not actually built by Africans, that it was built by some aliens and all that. Isn't it laughable? Because there has been only one single story. Even when what our forefathers were massive and there, and the people are still saying, no, it was not built by Africans. So it was built by Africans. We built it, and we ate healthy, and we lived healthy, and we worked healthy because of the food that we ate. Then in terms of commerce, there was inter-trade between African kingdoms from North America to down to West Africa and down to South Africa. They traded their food, you know, inter-kingdom trade and all of that before the Europeans came, and of course, they also traded with the Europeans. Now, what are the values, health values of herbs? I put it, just let's tabulate it so that we don't waste time. It was used for to cure all kinds of diseases. Now, unfortunately, that's why I'm going to end my presentation. We didn't preserve it, not with preservation with salt or deep freezers and all of that. Preservation, that is transgenerational. Immediately we got in contact with Western education, we tend to abandon what our forefathers were doing. So, and it cured a lot of diseases. It was used to embalm dead bodies. You can see the Egyptian mummy, someone that died can be the same way for 2,000 years. They use herbs to do all of that. It's also used to necromancy the dead. Now, the necromancy is questioning the dead. You may not like it, it may not sound good, but it's herbs that they use. Well, I happen to come from a village where that is practiced, and I experienced it. I don't know the leaf, but I see them getting the leaves and they put it together. And some of our mates were much younger than when we were just in our early 20s. They put a corpse on your head, two people, and it will move you. You will be forced to move, and the force, you won't know where it's coming from. Now, this may be negative, but I'm just telling you what herbs can do. And so, and I experienced it. Herbs were also used for protection during war. You see there, some call it odeshi. So if you want to go to war, there are some herbs that the herdsman will put together for you, and you will go and come back. And African herbs still remains mythical today. There are certain things that you won't believe, but some of them happen. Some of them are not as true as they portrayed, but some of them are very true. These are what the man, the African, will do with herbs. Then, in terms of preservation, like I said, we didn't do a good job. We didn't do a good job because I like, this is where the Europeans, they're ahead of us. They keep everything, they keep record of what their parents did before, and they have the tendency to even improve on it. for rather than we do that, again, I don't think I'll blame the younger generation, because I also grew up in a very rural setting. These herdsmen who were very vast in using herbs for a lot of things did not also make it a commonplace. They didn't want to tell people, even their own children. So sometimes they die, maybe suddenly, or die at old age, and they almost die with all the knowledge that they have about herbs. So that was how we lost greatly. Then physical preservation was mainly done by sun drying, and so at the end of the day, the natural nature of herbs are preserved. So these are some of the thoughts that came from food and herbs, economic, health values of food and herbs. So any questions?
A lot of people throwing questions in the chat. Thank you for that presentation. I myself have been actually reading, and with some that I've gotten from my mom, because I plant a lot. I don't have an allotment, but I plant on my balcony. So I plant things on my plant, and I plant a lot of herbs. And one thing I've noticed is the mint and the what's they call it? You know, I don't know what they call it. Is this? I think I have it here. I'm gonna check for it to see if I can bring it out. I'm sure I have it. So I was just experimenting on my own, and I noticed they use this one to cook pepper soup. Well, I don't know the native name they used to call it.
That's Uda.
Uda.
Yes.
Very spicy.
It's very hot.
Very hot.
Yes.
So I noticed this Uda, when I have a cough and I eat it, the cough just go away.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yes.
So because I have it as part of my pepper soup ingredients. So I remember one weekend, like I was coughing, and it happened on Friday. I was coughing. It was just a little bit, but towards Saturday it was just too much for me to bear. And I was trying to get to the pharmacy, but the pharmacy closed on time. And I was just thinking, I said, what am I going to take? So I said, okay, let me quickly do some hot soup. So I was kind of pounding the spice that I'm going to put. So I just pick one and I chew it. It was very burning on my throat. So I just keep chewing it. And I noticed after an hour, I didn't even cough. But I have been coughing consistently, just coughing and coughing. But I'm sure I end up eating about 20 of this for the small seeds. And the cough just disappeared. So this is when I know that this thing actually is medicinal, and it can be used to cure anything that got to, even sore, the mouth sore.
Yes.
Yeah, when you have those mouth sore,
yes,
and you chew this Uda, it actually just healed the mouth sore immediately. And I said, how come no one has actually said this thing does this? And I also noticed the taste of this Uda have the same taste like a lavender seed. I have lavender here because I plant lavender in my house.
That is a transgenerational. Hello. Are you there? Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I said that is the transgenerational issue that we have. Now, our forefathers applied it so well. Oda is not only for cough, it's fantastic for cough. Oda is very good in so many other areas. Now, the reason why we use it for pepper soup is that it can take care of any issue that has to do with stomach. Maybe you have ulcer, you take Oda. If you are not feeling good, you take Oda. And there are areas that you apply Oda. I think pile, Oda is very good for pile, for those who know how to use it. Now, the question now is, you ask a good question. When it was not passed on to the next generation, our forefathers who used it, they kind of, like I said, they didn't tell the younger generation, and also the younger generation were not interested. But I think the missing link should be our pharmacists today. What are they doing about these things? When they carry out one or two researches, I think they can go back and find out what these things can do. Because even the white man is using them. Tomorrow, when they know the properties, they just put it in drugs and send it back to us and preserve it.
And I noticed that this lavender, this is from I do this, and I also use it as so what I have here is dry mint. This is dry mint and dried lemon leaf. I have another dried lime leaf, and I have so when I taste this lavender seed, the lavender seed tastes like the Uda. They have almost they are like the same family. Okay. So they have almost the same properties in it. The only thing different with the lavender seed is that the lavender seed is a bit minty.
Okay.
But the Uda is very spice, it's very peppery.
Yes.
So and I remember my mom used to tell me that there's one of my uncle, when he goes to the forest, the leaves, they talk. They actually, it's from my that's the Ombonu side. Yes. They leave the actual, because he actually does a lot of herbs, that the leaf will speak and say what they cure. And that is how those traditional healers used to go and know what can heal what can cure what. But it's a shame that some of all this great medicine from all these herbs in Africa are not being used anymore. We know sickness are coming. Because I remember I want to say, he said that there are some leaves that even say this is what they cure, but that sickness has never even happened. That they've not even had about that, because now there's a lot of sickness coming up. But yes, these skills and this knowledge are not. They used to call it, say they are witch doctors, but they're not witch doctors. These are, even though they are witch doctors, but these are great philosophers. These are great professors of medicine. That they did. This is naturally gifted to them. They didn't need to go to 10 years in the university to actually study how those herbs can be used. Even going back to the quinine, the quinine was developed from a root, the root of a tree called the chloroquine, from a root of a tree called quinine. And there's a lot of different herbs that actually, even the trees, just normal trees, there's a lot of trees that grows that can actually help. There's one tree very close to my house. They call it, it's a raspberry, but it's a bush raspberry tree. I used to cut the stick and do my teeth and scrub my teeth. And I noticed, because I have a bleeding gum, so anytime I use the stick from that tree to do my teeth, the bleeding gum just stop. So, but there's quite good number of all these herbs that are not being used, are just being left abandoned in the forest and just not being touched. And another thing that baffled me is when people say African food are not healthy. And I said, how do you come about that?
Exactly.
How do you come about African food are not healthy? I know they talked about the palm oil, but the natural palm oil that is being born from the palm root is healthy. It's the one that has been put into chemical. It's the chemical one that is terrible for the body.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is not the natural one that you get, that you remove extract from the palm oil, the fresh one. It does not even sleep. It doesn't form into you hardly see it form into like what's they call it? Into a block.
Maybe congeal.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's always very light in nature. And then the udaku, you're talking about the ringworm and eczema.
Yes.
Yeah. The udaku, if you get the real udaku and rub to any child that have that ringworm or eczema, it just disappears. Because I remember back home, that's what we used to rub on someone was saying to me, Lucy, your hair is so dark. I said, yes, my hair is so dark. It's when I came here, I started using maybe coconut oil. Back home, I never use the hair cream I use is udaku. So it's udaku. I use that udaku for we use it for a very long. Either the udaku itself or the real coconut oil. You use it for the hair, and you see you get this pure, nice, bright, shining black hair.
Yes, I want to take you back. You just said that some people say that African diets, African foods are not healthy. Again, it will go back to the dilemma and the danger of single story, because the West has the power of the media, and they tell you that our food is not healthy. I mean, it's very obvious when you go around. Let's take East Africans, for example. They keep winning a particular race. Any long distance race, East Africans are winning. Why? Like I said earlier, because they eat a lot of grains, that they are very fit. They don't struggle with weight. No, because of the natural food, the things that they eat. So Americans are dying of obesity. They are dying of heart issues and all of that, but you don't find that in East Africa. So who is eating junk? You know, they like to play up what is not good and play down what is good. So the typical African soup is always very rich, whether be it a gwisi soup or okra soup or a dikaiko or the South African food, or very rich, because they have the vegetable you are looking for, they have protein, they have everything that is natural. So we should be talking to ourselves to say, listen, guys, let's not malign what we have. What we have is just look at that odor you just talked about. You have a cough, you don't need to go and buy cough tar or whatever, all those chemicals, and when you take them, they have their own side effect. You just take this, you cough out the thing, and it's gone. You go your way. They will diagnose you in Europe and say, oh, you have to put you on antibiotics for 17 days and all of that. All that will have effect on your heart and your kidney, but this doesn't. So we must go back. Now, I praise the East, the Chinese, the Japanese. They've gone back to herbs, purely on herbs, and they live long. So we Africans need to wake up. In everything that we talk about, we are just docile and waiting for the white man or the European. What we have are very, very good.
You know, you're just talking about a traditional, you're talking about the food. I was having a conversation with someone, and I said a very simple soup that an African will cook will have the whole 5 a day in it.
Yes.
And I know you're talking about preservation. I remember back then, there's no light. So where were you looking for fridge to go and keep things?
Exactly.
But I remember, because I grew up in the north, when they make their tuwo, they preserve their tuwo in ash. You know, in ash, when you burn firewood, the ash that come out from the firewood,
Yes.
They will mix this the ash with water, a lot of water, and they make their corn maize and just dip it and leave it in there. And when they need it, they just take it out of the ash, raise it, and it never gets sour.
Mm.
And also, my mom is a restaurant person. When we cook, we always put charcoal on top of the food to prevent it to get, like, for example, if the weather is so hot, when the weather is hot, food easily gets spoiled. So when you make soup, we just take a charcoal from the fire, quench the charcoal, and put the charcoal on top of the soup. And that will make the soup will never sour. Never.
Everything is natural. Everything
natural.
Naturally preserved.
Yeah. It remember that even the kanwa, they use the kanwa to keep soup. They put a little bit so that to stop it from actually getting sour and preserve it and make it to stay longer. You talk about the grain, a lot of grain, not just the East Africa. If you go to the northern part of a lot of the northerners, they have the jero, the millet, the corn, and I know some of the corn people eat here are the one they put in the tin. Another thing again has a preservation, but back home there's nothing like that. The only way we preserve the food is to dry them in the sun. We have what is called I didn't even know that was tomatoes. They have it in a tin. They call it, I'm trying to remember the name, sun blanche. They say sun blanche tomatoes, but these are dry tomatoes that you find in the north. It's a dry tomatoes you find in the north, and that is the way they preserve the tomatoes. They just cut them, dry them in the sun, and then they can use them to cook. And when you use that dry tomato, the taste of that what's it called? That tomatoes is even more better and healthier than even when you eat a fresh one that is cooked. And even go down to meat. People don't put meat in the fridge. You dry them. You dry them to retain. And when you dry those meat, you still, and these are way that Africans has actually used to preserve a lot of their food. Because when you dry things, you still keep all the nutritional value of that item in it. Even though if it's meat, if it's fish, if it's a corn or millet, whatever, once you dry them, you still retain the original proteinous value. You put them inside the fridge, they get frozen, they look very if they don't even get spoiled or look sour by the time you bring them out.
Yeah. Talking about drying things, Lucy, you remember Joseph was the one that went to Egypt and there was famine. What did Joseph do? For 7 years of bountiful harvest, they were storing grains in some of those holes and all of that you now find that archaeologists are discovering. So they stored grain up for 7 years. They didn't use refrigerators, they didn't use anything. Then when there was no food for 7 years, Joseph was just going in there and bringing out grains. So Africans have been so advanced in these areas. But unfortunately, we left what we had that were unique, that made us unique. I'm talking in terms of food. And we now follow the white man. So we now have the white man disease. Like diabetes, cancer. Is when we stuff our system with a lot of chemicals that it start reacting with our cells, and of course the cells start misbehaving. Is that not what cancer is? Natural food, you can hardly have cancer. The percentage is very low. So we must start appreciating who we truly are and start keeping our diet, because what you eat is who you are. How healthy your food is how healthy you are, you turn out.
And that brings me back to some of these trees. I was telling my kid, they plant a lot of trees. And sometimes I'm asking, I know trees are good to plant them to sustain. But back home, we plant medicinal trees. And when you go to a lot of the street, you will see mango tree, you will see orange tree, you will see dogoyaro, you will see I forgot this name of this baba trees. So cashew trees, guava trees. These are trees just plant on the streets.
Yes.
So and they plant them on the streets and people use them. You don't even need any permission to go and take the fruit from those trees. And even the dogoyaro that is used, dogoyaro and mango leaf, that mostly they use them with what's they call it? Dogoyaro, mango leaf, mint, efirin. I don't know what they call efirin.
Even zobo leaf.
Yes, they use them for fever.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you get high fever, they give you that dogoyaro leaf and all those herbs mixed together, and you actually bathe with them.
Yes.
The following day, you're good. You're good to go.
You're off. It's instant.
You're good to go. Or your body system, everything. Before you know, you go to the toilet and everything. Your body is like your body system is clean up.
So actually, during COVID-19, we went back. That was when Africa started practicing. We actually went back using garlic, ginger, this dogoyaro that you just talked about, covering yourself. When the first lockdown was about 1 month, 2 weeks in Nigeria. So when we came out, that was what almost everyone was doing. If you went to the bank, as soon as you are back, you go straight to your kitchen, then you cover yourself so that if for any reason you have the virus and all of that, you put the smoke into your nostrils and all of that. Maybe that's why it didn't hit Nigerians a lot, and people are asking how. Because you people in Europe were waiting for vaccines while we're just using our natural means. I can't tell scientifically if that was it, but we were doing that. And somehow, when you do it, you feel secure, because if they say this heat kills this thing, you have actually surrounded yourself with heat and you drink the water. And like you said, the next day you are up and doing. I'm sure a lot of us actually had COVID-19 in Nigeria somehow. But because we're taking ginger, we're covering ourselves and all of that. And I hear that it has a semblance like malaria, so it disappears. Maybe.
Yeah, because it gives you fever, it knocks you down. Yeah, it gives you fever. Some people were throwing up, getting sick, and it's almost symptom like malaria. Yeah. You're right. It's almost symptom like malaria and maybe if you have typhoid fever or eye fever, almost symptom like that. So if those herbs that they were using to people were taking a lot of them, so we not scientifically proved, but might have a sense of relief. Because we back in the house, that's what we were taking. We had a lot of pepper soup ingredients. So we were just making a lot of pepper soup to keep the body and so keep our nostril open. So by the time you're doing that pepper soup, you can see that you are actually dripping.
You'll be sweating.
You'll be sweating and dripping. Even all the stomach that is feeling for you to start throwing up, everything will just clear. And
disappear,
yeah. Even though you are not able to go to toilet, you just go to toilet and clear everything up and come out. So it was anyway. Thank you very much for today. I think our next session will be at the Instagram platform where we'll be talking. We'll be posting 1 or 2 herbs that we know people have used and has actually healed them. Because back then there was no hospital and people never die. There was no hospital. People never die. Say there's one bad health issue killed them. It's now that there's hospital that people are even dying more.
Yes.
Yeah. Back home then, you see the women, they help, they use the traditional herbs to the way they say if the child sits the other way around, they will use traditional herb to turn the child to sit, to head face down properly. Then if you have a broken hand or broken leg, they use the traditional herbs to actually straighten that. And they recommend different, like when they omugwo. I know people do not understand what omugwo. There's a lady that has formed an organization called Omugwo Club. So yeah, she's in Manchester. She formed an organization called Omugwo Club. So she worked with some of the midwives in Manchester, where they help African women to heal after having babies. So our organization actually provides the because maybe some people, they give birth, when I had baby, my mom wasn't there to actually bathe you, help you, treat you, and give you those pepper soup to recover your body. Even before when you were pregnant, eat good food. So what our organization do is to actually prepare pepper soup, all those omugwo soup and everything, and help the women for a couple of months till they actually become. And I'm sure a lot of midwives has actually recommended people should attend the Omugwo Club. This is going back to our herbs and our tradition, how this has actually played a vital role. And you see, when you have baby, people ask, why does the Africa has a nice shape? They mold you, when they give back to your mother, especially the girls, they will mold you. They massage and they give you that figure.
Yes.
That's the traditional way. I remember my midwife was saying to me, oh, I went to one, somebody had a baby, and I saw the way the grandma was. I said, that is why the baby will not cry, because a lot of baby when they're born, they just cry throughout the night. If they give you nice warm bath, when the baby struggle to come out from the bed, the baby too is struggling, mother is struggling, body will pain now. Even your body pain, is it the child that body will not pain? So if the child has now people go for baby massage. So they go for baby massage, newborn baby massage. That's okay. And you are arguing with the African people massaging their child after they give birth to them. Massage it, raise the hand, raise the leg, shake it. But you go for baby, that's exactly what they do in baby massage. It's just like you give your own a fancy name. We don't give her any name, but we know that's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being here. And we hope our viewers has enjoyed a lot of this session. And it's good to understand the African culture and what has actually preserved them, make them very. People say we are very strong. We are very strong because of some of the food we eat back home, and those of us that are still retaining some of those food, not the one that is full of fatty. There's a lot of food back home. If you prepare it the way your mother taught you, except you are cooking your own style. If you prepare it the way your mom taught you, it is healthy, it is good for the body, and that is what has preserved you for you to be where you are. But when you start adding all the gbogbo niche, that is where the problem comes. So thank you very much, Mr. Cletus, and I hope you enjoy it. And we hope to see you on the 6th at the Instagram page. So everyone, thank you all for joining us. We're going to call it a day now because we've actually completed our hour session. Take your time, study the African herbs, study the medicinal value, and use them wisely. You have a lot of them. You have African shop across Woolwich. You have some in Deptford. You have some in Peckham. You have in Bristol, Camberwell. Go there and buy good herbs and use them because they all have medicinal value and they will help you in terms of your health and sustain you. Goodbye and have a great day.
Bye-bye.